Greetings, Guardians, my name is Bife here. Brief video today. No script, only notes. I'm meant to be on break, but I'm back for this because, well, it's the end of Act 2, and also it's the biggest thing that's happened in the entirety of the story of Echoes thus far. Also, in case you hadn't realized, spoilers throughout. This has been your spoiler warning. So, this week we had a lot to unpack in the story, and I think it'd be fair to say that Act 2 concludes with quite the bang. There's really two parts to this, which are the Saint 14 parts and the Conductor parts. Let's talk Saint 14 first, but only briefly in comparison to the rest, because I know we need to get on to the Conductor stuff, and fast. Saint had to go back to his grave. That's the short version of it all. However, we couldn't actually access the Infinite Forest because it's still stuck. Good news! Nessus is an archival backup. So within the planetary core of Nessus, we were able to go down and we were able to find a shell, a version and copy of Saint 14's grave from the Infinite Forest containing all the same data. This was important because contained within the memories of the old Saint was also critical data on the Vex of Nessus that Failsafe needed to track the Conductor. This was going to be Saint 14's job. Only he would be able to absorb the memories of his dead self from this simulation. This could have been really bad for a number of reasons, and whilst Saint 14 saw the moment of his death, the fact that he also realized that his last thought was of Osiris galvanized him, as he took on those old memories of the dead person that he wasn't ever really, but also kind of was. He saw a renewal of purpose, his doubts faded away, and both his memories and his other self's memories were uploaded and merged together. Saint 14 is now one person, but he remembers two lives. In a certain sense, he's now even more paradoxical than he used to be. He has the memories of two lives existing inside his single brain, one of the life of a person who is now dead and one of someone who is still living onward. Regardless, he was emboldened and strengthened by the encounter. It's worth remembering the fact that this is a simulated copy, and that potentially helps to cut away some of the potentially reality-breaking properties of the paradox. Things like you can't actually find yourself dead and alive at the same time. We don't know if the universe might have imploded if, for example, Saint 14 made contact with his dead body, thus creating a really paradoxical moment in time. If anything else, I think this just tells us yet again that we really don't know how time works that well. Either way, paradoxes weren't given a further chance to compound any more than they needed to. As we headed out to find the Conductor, from this encounter we also faced a new version of Agioctis. That matters because that is the name of the Martyr Mind, aka the mind that killed Saint 14 originally within the Infinite Forest, the mind that drained him of his light, the mind that we killed in the Season of Dawn, and the mind that defeated Saint 14 and left his body for us to find in Curse of Osiris. It was pretty topical to see this foe come back again, and yes, pretty good. We defeated it again here, and once more proved that there was not much the Vex could really do to stop more than a single Guardian without throwing half a planet's worth of Vex at it. Onto the Conductor though, because this is where things get very, very interesting.
Lakshmi?
Is a facsimile its archetype? No, I am Maya Sandrash. But we have already met.
Sundarish. So this is what happened to you after Neomuna, after your experiments with the Veil.
I know what you can do with the Echo of Command. I will not allow you to raise an army of Vex.
I'm doing what I've been called to do.
The Vex called to you.
Humanity called to me. The collapse, the Black Fleet is finished. Now we can look back to what we've lost. Radiolaria is the means to this end. It represents the smallest unit of consciousness. A trillion formless minds, notes in a symphony of thought. Each one begging for direction, for a conductor. Nessus will be converted. The radial area I command will be spread throughout the system. I will deliver us the golden age. And if you stand in the way of progress, I will break you down into more compliant elements.
We are not your Vex.
You will be.
Get us out of here, now!
So as it turns out, the conductor is exactly who we thought they were. It's Maya Sundaresh, although she is wearing a very similar face to that of Lakshmi too. There might be a reason for that, and it's all explained in the Veil containment logs, but just so we don't have to go through 30 minutes of those, Bungie has quite cleverly summarized the important bits in this radio message from Osiris. Take a listen to this.
The research on Neomuna's Veil facility is complete. As the report is lengthy, I will summarize. Maya Sundaresh and Chioma Essie were a married pair of researchers in the Golden Age. Their work often touched on the Vex. They found an object on Neptune that whispered to Maya in her own voice. That artifact, the Veil, is of the darkness, as the Traveler is of the light. Maya grew obsessed with it. Chioma grew afraid. In her compulsion to study the Veil, Maya took no heed of any risks or of Chioma's doubts. Humans under her command died. Exominds were wiped. Maya wanted a chorus that could channel the power of the Veil. And to control that chorus, she built an imprint of herself named Lakshmi. Soon afterwards, Maya entered the Vex network. She left no trace. Chioma exiled Lakshmi, shut down all Veil research, and redacted it from Neomuna's history. In a final act, Chioma entered the network herself. Other Mayas and Chiomas were already inside, simulated hundreds of times by the Vex. It's possible that the Echo brought many Mayas together into the Conductor. Or perhaps only the first. There is no way to know which, if any, directed the Conductor's actions. But it would be folly to underestimate any Maya Sundaresh.
For those of you who missed it and want more context on it, check out my recent video on who the Conductor is. It's relevant to all of this, but I'll repeat the important parts. Maya died on Neomuna by interfacing with the Conductor's chair that she had built while studying the Veil. This Conductor's chair linked in with the Cloud Arc systems that were in their infancy, and of course with the Veil itself, and apparently also with the Vex network. She interfaced with it, leaving Lakshmi behind, as well as of course Chioma Essie, her wife. Chioma would eventually follow her into the Vex network too, but the Lakshmi that we found is the really important part to all of this. Lakshmi is the imprint of what Maya required in order to become the conductor to her choir. Our Lakshmi too that we knew from the time of the factions might be dead, but the imprint of who she was and how she would be able to be used in order to interact with other beings in that conductor fashion could still conceivably be remade. That appears to be what's happened. Maya Sundaresh has taken form as this imprint and has assumed control over the Nessus Vex using the power of the Echo of Command. What isn't clear to the characters in the story at the moment is which Maya Sundaresh this is. And what does that mean? Well, basically, alongside the main Maya Sundaresh who died when she interfaced with the Conductor's chair, and got uploaded to the Vex network, who might still technically be alive in there, there are 227 other copies of Maya Sundaresh. They were released into the Vex network because, long story short, the Vex made simulated copies of them, and they were saved by Rasputin only to be released as reconnaissance units later. So we don't know which copy of Maya Sundaresh this is. However, there is a decent chance that this is M-Sund 12. Go ahead and read the lore entry from last week if you want to look at that. It's not clear, but it does seem to indicate that that is the case. Maya's plan, however, is what we do know a lot about. She plans to exploit the power vacuum that was left by the defeat of the Black Fleet and to bring about a new Golden Age, but one where she turns us all into Vex. Perfect Vex at her command. She would create a perfection, but would ultimately have control over it once again, much like what the Witness was doing with the final shape. This means that what she's starting here with the Vex of Nessus will ultimately expand out to the Vex of the rest of the network, and to humanity and the rest of the system. So now, we know what the Conductor wants, who she is, and why Nessus is being transformed. It's time to put a stop to those plans before it's too late. How we do that? Well, not entirely clear, but I think it is. We need to secure the Echo. See you in Act 3 for that. I'm going to go ahead and do some more detailed video breakdowns when I'm back from break. Expect that to be another week or so. I hate to leave you guys without content for that long, but I need the time off. I will, however, be getting back to you with a lot of other content as well. Expect to see a lot more stuff and on a somewhat more regular schedule from that point onwards. Also, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll be at GCX. Hope to see you all there. Very much looking forward to it, in fact. Anyway, as per usual, know that your viewership, as always, has been quite enough for me, and that in the meantime, my name is Byf. Per audacia ad astra. I'll see you, Starside.